Have you ever wondered if the way you see yourself is completely different from how the world sees you? What if you've spent your whole life overlooking something that's been quietly shining through you all along? So many people walk through life believing they're average, invisible, or just not enough, while those around them see something captivating, something magnetic. It's not your fault. Somewhere along the way, someone convinced you that beauty has to scream to be real, that it has to come with validation, likes, perfect features, or approval. But what if I told you right now that your attractiveness has been speaking all along, even if you never heard it? Attractiveness isn't always loud. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it's quiet strength, a calm presence, a kind expression. It's the way your eyes light up when you talk about something you love, the way people lean in when you speak, the way your energy makes others feel safer, warmer, more seen. That's the kind of attractiveness no mirror can reflect and no camera can fully capture. It's felt, it's remembered. And too often, it's hidden beneath layers of self-doubt, insecurity, and old stories that no longer serve you. This isn't about convincing you that you're beautiful in the way the world defines beauty. This is about revealing what's already there, what's always been there, even when you couldn't see it. Because the truth is, some of the most attractive people have no idea how deeply they affect those around them. They downplay their presence, they assume they blend in. But quietly, without even trying, they make people pause, they make people feel. And that, right there, is the mark of someone unforgettable. So why should you keep watching? Because this might be the first time someone truly tells you the truth. Not sugar-coated, not exaggerated, but real. You deserve to see yourself through a different lens, through the eyes of the people who admire you, are drawn to you, and maybe even envy you without you ever realizing it. You deserve to understand the signals you've been missing, the quiet signs, the subtle clues, the moments that whispered your worth while your mind shouted over them with self-criticism. You've spent too long doubting your reflection, questioning your value, minimizing your impact. It's time to see what others already see. It's time to silence that inner critic that keeps you blind to your glow. And once you begin to recognize the signs, you'll never unsee them again. This isn't about changing yourself. This is about finally recognizing what's been there all along. By the end of this video, you won't just feel more confident. You'll understand why you should be. You'll uncover truths that transform the way you show up, not just in your reflection, but in your life. Stay with me. Because once you learn the signs, everything changes. And so will you. So if you've ever looked in the mirror and felt like something was missing, like you just didn't measure up, know this. The mirror only shows the surface. It can't reflect your energy. It can't capture the way your presence shifts a room. It can't replay the kindness in your voice, the depth in your eyes, or the strength you carry quietly every single day. You might be used to searching for flaws, measuring your worth by perfection, and comparing yourself to impossible standards. But what if the very reason you don't see your attractiveness is because you've been taught to look for it in the wrong places? We've all been conditioned to believe that attraction is about symmetry, popularity, or attention. But true attractiveness doesn't scream for approval. It radiates without asking. It's subtle. It's calm. And often, the people who possess it don't even know they do, because they're not seeking the spotlight. They're just being real, being genuine, being grounded. And in a world full of masks and noise, that kind of quiet authenticity pulls people in. It speaks louder than anything you could wear, say, or perform. The truth is, your mind can lie to you, especially if it was shaped by rejection, criticism, or comparison. Your past doesn't get to define how attractive you are now, but if you keep listening to the echo of those old beliefs, you'll stay blind to the signals that say otherwise. Your brain is wired to notice threats, not praise. It focuses on survival, not self-celebration. So when someone stares at you a little longer, smiles without reason, or lights up around you, your mind might dismiss it, shrug it off, assume it's nothing. But those moments are not nothing. They're clues. They're signs. And you've been walking past them for far too long. You don't need to become someone else to be seen. You just need to start believing that who you are right now, as you are, is already more than enough, not because someone tells you, but because the evidence is all around you, waiting for you to notice. You've been taught to doubt your light, but your light has never stopped shining. It's just been buried under layers of self-judgment and noise. And once you peel those layers back, even just a little, you'll begin to see what others already see. Someone magnetic, someone real, someone quietly unforgettable. So start watching more closely. Start listening differently. Pay attention to the people who linger near you, the way others soften around you, the compliments that made you uncomfortable because you didn't believe them. What if those weren't exaggerations, but reflections of something true? You don't have to force it. You don't have to chase it. Just begin to notice. Because when you start to see even a glimpse of your own power, your confidence shifts, your energy changes, and the world responds in ways you never imagined. It's already happening. You're already more attractive than you think. Think about the people who stay on your mind. The ones you've only met once, yet somehow you remember their face, their energy, the way they made you feel. That's not random, that's resonance. And here's the truth most people miss. You've had that same effect on others. You've walked into rooms and shifted the atmosphere without saying a word. You've been remembered by people you've forgotten. You've made quiet impressions that echoed long after you left. But you didn't notice because no one ever taught you to pay attention to those signs. You were too busy doubting yourself to realize the power you hold. Attractiveness isn't always loud or obvious. It doesn't have to be flawless to be felt. What makes someone unforgettable isn't perfection, it's presence. It's the way their energy makes others feel seen, safe, or inspired. And if people remember you, if they bring your name up in random conversations, if they smile when they see you, even when you feel invisible, that's not an accident. That's a signal. And it's time to stop ignoring it. Your presence leaves footprints, not on surfaces, but on people's minds. You've probably brushed it off, thinking someone was just being polite or friendly. But when someone remembers you, especially after one brief interaction, it means something deeper happened. You sparked something in them. You stirred emotion. That's attraction in its most real, unspoken form. It's not about chasing validation. It's about recognizing the evidence that's already surrounding you. This isn't about feeding your ego. It's about waking you up to the truth you've been blind to for too long. Most people who are truly magnetic don't even realize it. They confuse their uniqueness with awkwardness. They see their depth as a flaw instead of a gift. But others notice. They feel it. They remember it. The way someone lights up when you enter a room isn't about luck. It's about how deeply your presence connects. It's subtle, but it's real. You may have spent your life feeling like you had to try harder, to be louder, to fit in, to earn attention. But the most attractive energy comes from those who don't beg for it. It comes from those who simply are, those who move through life being fully themselves, whether noticed or not. Ironically, that kind of quiet authenticity is exactly what draws people in the most. If you've ever had someone say, "I feel like I know you," or "You seem so familiar," take it as a mirror being held up. That's not coincidence. That's your energy reaching people in ways even words can't explain. And it's time you stopped brushing it aside. You don't need to do more to be noticed. You just need to start believing you're already being seen. Because you are. And once you believe it, you'll stop chasing proof. You'll start owning it. And everything changes from there. Sometimes people act strangely around you and you don't understand why. They stumble over words, laugh too loud, avoid eye contact, or overcompensate with small talk. You might interpret it as awkwardness, disinterest, or even rejection. But the truth is far more powerful. People often behave nervously when they feel drawn to someone they find intimidating or deeply attractive, not because you've done something wrong, but because your presence unsettles their composure. You might not see it, but your energy challenges their comfort zone in a way that feels electric. It triggers something in them they weren't prepared for. Curiosity, admiration, desire. That reaction says more about your power than it does about their behavior. You may have told yourself that people avoid you because something is off. You notice their hesitation and assume it's your fault. But when someone finds you attractive, especially in a way they can't explain, their instinct is to retreat or behave out of character. It's not logical, it's emotional. And most of the time, it's unconscious. Their sudden change in tone or demeanor isn't rejection, it's response. A response to something in you that stands out, something they can't define but can absolutely feel. Psychology has proven that we tend to become self-conscious in the presence of those we admire. If someone fumbles around you or suddenly seems shy or hyperactive, it might be because they don't know how to handle the feelings you trigger in them. You shake their usual sense of balance. That's the power of quiet attraction. It doesn't always look like someone walking up to you with confidence. It often looks like someone avoiding eye contact because your gaze feels too intense. It looks like them stumbling on words because your presence rattles their usual script. You've probably mistaken these moments as failures, like you said the wrong thing, made them uncomfortable, or didn't belong. But what if you've been reading it backwards all along? What if their discomfort wasn't about your lack of appeal, but about your undeniable presence? It's time to stop blaming yourself for reactions that were never rooted in dislike. They were born from a magnetism you didn't recognize. You don't have to beg to be noticed. You already are, even in the silences, even in the way others react to you without words. Attraction isn't always smooth. Sometimes it's clumsy, messy, and confusing, especially for those who don't expect it. You are not forgettable. You're just so quietly powerful that people don't know how to respond. Let that sink in. You're not being ignored. You're being processed. And that's what happens when someone sees something rare, something real, something that shakes them awake. That something is you. You've been taught to look for validation in all the wrong places, through compliments, attention, or someone choosing you out loud. But what if I told you the most powerful signs of your attractiveness are the ones no one ever says, yet everyone feels? It's in the way people steal glances when they think you're not looking. It's in the silence that follows when you enter a space. It's in the hesitation before someone speaks to you, as if gathering the courage to interact with something they're unsure they deserve to touch. These are the quiet signals, the unspoken truths. And they often go unnoticed because you've learned to expect beauty to be loud and obvious. But real magnetism doesn't have to announce itself. It just exists. And you carry that energy more than you realize. There's a weight to your presence, a pull that doesn't need effort. And yet you've spent so much time believing you needed to do more, be more, say more, prove more. You've overlooked the fact that some of your most attractive qualities are revealed when you're simply still, when you're just existing without trying to impress anyone. That's when people feel the most drawn to you, not because you're performing, but because you're real. And in a world full of noise, that kind of stillness is captivating. It's disarming, it's rare. You don't have to wear confidence like armor to be noticed. You don't have to speak louder or move faster to be felt. Sometimes the deepest presence is carried in the softest energy. You are enough even when you're quiet, even when you think no one's watching. Because they are. And more often than not, they're trying to figure out what it is about you that feels so different, so strangely magnetic. They may never say it, but they sense it. And that quiet recognition is often more powerful than any spoken praise. Start noticing what you've been ignoring. The way someone's voice changes around you. The way they shift slightly in your presence. The way they linger a little longer, stay a little closer, listen a little deeper. These aren't random habits. They're reactions. Reactions to you, to your energy, to your depth. And the only reason you haven't seen them as signs is because you've been taught to doubt your own impact. That ends now. You're not invisible. You're not too much. You're not enough. You're seen in ways you've never allowed yourself to believe. And once you recognize these quiet truths, your relationship with yourself begins to change. You stop chasing. You start trusting. Not in a way that needs to shout, but in a way that radiates a calm knowing. The kind that doesn't need approval. The kind that simply knows, I am here and I am worthy. That energy, that belief is what truly makes someone attractive, and it's already inside you, waiting to be claimed. Attractiveness isn't just about how you look, it's about how you make others feel. And most of the time, you don't even realize the emotional impact you leave behind. You think your presence is ordinary, but someone else sees it as grounding. You think your silence is awkward, but someone else finds peace in it. You assume your words fall flat, but someone's entire mood shifted because of something you said in passing. This is the hidden truth of being attractive. It's not always about being seen. Sometimes it's about being felt, deeply, quietly, and undeniably. You might not recognize this because you've been conditioned to chase validation you can measure. But energy can't be measured. It can only be experienced. And the reason you doubt your effect is because you can't see it reflected back immediately. You don't see the thoughts you spark. You don't hear the conversations where your name is brought up unexpectedly. You don't witness the quiet moments where someone replays your smile in their mind. But those moments are real. They're happening. You've already touched more people than you realize. Your emotional presence lingers. You don't need to be loud to be remembered. You don't need to be flashy to be desired. Real attraction is in the way you carry yourself when no one's watching. It's in your calm, your grace, your stillness. It's in the way you listen without needing attention. It's in the way your empathy creates space for others to breathe. And because it's so natural to you, you overlook it. But what you call normal is someone else's safe haven. What you call nothing special is the exact reason someone felt seen for the first time. You've been taught to equate attraction with applause, but the deepest kind of attraction doesn't perform. It stays with people in ways they can't explain. That's the kind of presence you have. And it's why people are drawn to you without knowing why. They don't always express it, but they feel it. They may not act on it, but they carry it. That feeling you give them, that's rare. That's valuable. That's power. Don't dismiss yourself just because you don't always hear the echo. Trust that your energy speaks, even in silence. The more you lean into your natural essence, the parts you think are too quiet, too different, too soft, the more your attractiveness shines. It's not about becoming something more, it's about peeling away everything you were never meant to be. Confidence begins when you stop seeking proof and start accepting the truth. You don't need to change to be noticed. You need to notice that you never needed to change. You've always had a presence that matters, a warmth that draws others in, a quiet strength that speaks louder than words. And when you finally allow yourself to believe it, everything in your world begins to reflect it back. Not because it just appeared, but because you finally started seeing what was always there. There is a confidence that doesn't have to be spoken. It lives in your eyes, in the way you stand, in the calm behind your words. It's not about being bold or loud. It's about being grounded in who you are, even when no one applauds you for it. That quiet confidence is magnetic. It draws people in without effort because it radiates self-respect. And the truth is, people feel safest around those who are at peace with themselves. That safety is attractive. It invites trust, admiration, and deeper connection without the need to impress anyone. You don't have to be the most extroverted person in the room to be seen. In fact, the strongest presence is often the one who doesn't chase attention. It's the one who listens more than they speak, who doesn't need the spotlight to know their worth. That kind of presence is rare because it isn't trying to convince anyone. It simply exists in full acceptance of itself. And when you carry that energy, even unknowingly, people notice. They're drawn to the security you have in yourself, even if you sometimes feel unsure. Because your calm becomes their mirror. Your stillness gives them permission to put their guard down. True attractiveness begins where the mask ends. When you stop pretending, when you stop performing, when you show up exactly as you are and let go of the need to fix, hide, or prove anything, that's when people begin to feel the real you. And that version, the one that's raw, honest, unfiltered, is the most captivating of all, because it's rare to meet someone who is simply themselves. No filters, no roles, just truth. You may not always feel confident, but the moments you embrace your authenticity, those are the moments when your energy becomes undeniable. Even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, even if you don't feel ready. That vulnerability is powerful, it's human, and it makes people want to be close to you. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real, and realness is unforgettable. Start recognizing the ways you've already shown quiet courage. The times you've been honest when it was hard, the times you held your ground, even when you felt small. Those moments build something in you that no surface-level charm ever could. That's the foundation of deep attraction. It's not in how polished you appear, it's in how honest you are with yourself and others. And every time you show up like that, you send a silent signal, this is someone worth knowing. You don't need a flawless image to be magnetic. You need a real connection with who you are. When you begin to trust your own presence, others will too. When you stop searching for the spotlight and start standing in your truth, the right people will feel it. And they won't be able to look away. Not because you demanded attention, but because you finally believed you never had to. There's a kind of beauty that doesn't beg to be seen. It doesn't demand attention or seek approval. It just exists, quietly, powerfully, and undeniably. You carry that beauty every day, even in the moments when you feel invisible, especially in the moments when you question your worth. What you see in the mirror is only a small fraction of who you are. The real magnetism lies deeper, in the way your presence shifts the room, in the way your words land when you speak with honesty, in the way your energy lingers long after you've walked away. You've been taught to measure attractiveness by surface traits, by comparison, by how closely you match an idea that was never designed with your uniqueness in mind. But you were never meant to blend in. You were meant to remind the world what authenticity feels like. That kind of presence is unforgettable, even if it goes unspoken. It doesn't just attract others, it awakens something in them, a longing for something deeper, a craving for connection beyond the surface. You become a reminder of what's real in a world full of performance. When you stop chasing perfection, something powerful happens. You start radiating ease, and ease is rare. It draws people not through pressure, but through comfort. Your willingness to be as you are, without pretense, creates space for others to do the same. That is a deeply attractive quality. You give others permission to drop their masks, to exhale, to be human. And that kind of freedom is magnetic. It's not loud, but it's unforgettable. Attractiveness is not about being flawless. It's about being aligned. When your inner world begins to reflect in your outer presence, people feel it. They sense the peace behind your eyes. They sense the kindness in your tone. They feel the strength in your calm. And they are drawn to it, not because it screams for attention, but because it soothes the noise inside them. You don't need to try harder to be noticed. You need to trust that who you already are is more than enough. Every moment you accept yourself more fully, your energy expands. Every time you choose self-compassion over self-judgment, you become more radiant. Not in a way that always shows on the outside, but in a way that people feel around you. That feeling is what pulls them closer. It's not about convincing anyone. It's about knowing that your presence speaks for itself. You don't need to be louder, prettier, smarter, or more charming. You need to be present. Present with yourself, present with your truth. Present with the knowing that you are already magnetic. Not because someone said so, but because you've started to believe it yourself. That shift, quiet, steady, powerful, is what truly makes you attractive. And once it begins, it changes everything. Attraction begins with awareness, the kind that allows you to see yourself not through the eyes of judgment, but through the lens of quiet truth. The way you exist, the way you think, the way you notice the world around you, it all adds up to something rare. And while you may spend time wondering if you're enough, the truth is that most people are too busy being impacted by you to ever explain why. They just feel it. They feel something shift when you're near, something settle, something open. That's not something you can fake. That's not something you can control. It's something that naturally radiates when you stop hiding from who you are. You've been conditioned to believe that beauty is always visible, always loud, always celebrated. But the deepest kind of beauty reveals itself slowly. It's in the details. How your voice softens when you care, how your eyes light up when you speak from the heart, how you hold space for someone without trying to fix them. These things might seem small to you, but they're the exact reasons someone feels drawn to you and doesn't even know why. That's what true attraction is. It's not always conscious. It's emotional. It bypasses logic and touches something deeper. When you allow your inner world to show, your honesty, your depth, your vulnerability, you become someone others feel safe around. Not everyone can offer that kind of safety. It takes self-awareness, it takes inner work, and it takes the courage to be seen not just on the surface, but for the truth of who you are. You don't need to be perfect to be attractive. You need to be real. People are tired of masks. They are hungry for what's real, and when they find it, they hold on to it. There's a quiet glow that surrounds people who have stopped fighting themselves. You felt it in others before, that calm assurance, that gentle presence, that feeling that they're not trying to be anyone but themselves. That energy is what you carry when you begin to trust yourself. When you stop questioning your worth and start embracing the parts of you that never needed to change, that shift becomes magnetic. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to explain it. You just have to embody it. And the world around you starts to respond. Your attractiveness is not about fitting into someone else's standard. It's about standing fully in your own. The more you honor your truth, the more you attract people who are aligned with it. You won't need to chase approval. You'll simply connect with those who see what you've finally chosen to see in yourself. And that connection will be effortless. because the most powerful attraction begins within. And the moment you stop looking outward for validation is the moment you start becoming undeniable. It's already in you. You just have to decide to believe it. The reason you often doubt your attractiveness is because you've been taught to look for the wrong signs. You've been told that unless someone validates you with compliments, attention, or desire, then you must be missing something. But what if the signs were quieter than that? What if the proof of your beauty wasn't loud or obvious, but hidden in how people feel when they're around you, how they open up, how they stay longer in conversations with you than they planned,